now we're just going to look forward and how to create that social interaction as best as we can. Like I mentioned in the group, I am teaching youth now virtually and after school programming, and we talked a lot about Zoom fatigue, and I mentioned how I played jazz for my students today just during an activity, because when they were doing a workshop, there was like that silence, so just to connect. And then one of our group members also mentioned that being like, for example, a medical student, not having that one-on-one person, interaction is very vital for your studies. And how can we do with advances of technology just to bring us together in that sense? So, and
Very cool.
I was mentioning really quickly with Anna and everyone that there's a foundation called Together for Children, and the Children's Trust, they have parenting workshops, and there's a bunch of after-school program with parenting classes, because I understand a lot of the parents, it's tough having all your kids there at home. You have to do work and different levels, and there's a lot of organizations out there helping just to build on that relationship with your teens or bringing your family together. And I'm here if you need any tips too. So that's our
Cool. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for sharing. Definitely, it's
Thank you.
hard to get students engaged nowadays. I can vouch for that myself. So, anybody else that would like to share?
I could share for our group. We talked about a lot. We talked about how the different grade scales could differ between what is needed for more interactive states with basically teaching. So with younger generation, we thought it would be a good idea to have virtual reality. More interaction is definitely necessary. People do learn by doing things. And if you think about it, a teacher teaching a class of 30 kids by themselves is it's a bit much. So we came up with the idea that we could have have volunteers, interns, retired teachers come in and help the class, and they can do individual breakout rooms, so it can get the more individualized learning that kids do need. As you get older, you obviously become more responsible. So for the collegiate, we were talking about how study groups would be a good idea, just making it either a requirement or just optional, that people can go and interact with their peers and get more information that way. We were talking about how a big thing is distractions for online learning now. So like, for example, I had a person on Zoom in one of my classes, but he was on a plane. So you can literally be doing anything, being anywhere. You're not required to sit in a classroom, stay focused. So we were talking basically about how individualized learning is more necessary than anything.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you for sharing, Shelby. I love that point you make, or using virtual reality. That'd be pretty cool. You see all these kindergartners with their headsets on, so that's a sight to see. Anybody else want to share?
I'll go. So my group, we also talked about virtual reality and just probably setting up a cost efficient like VR system, just so that they could interact more, and then it makes you more motivated to actually get up out of bed and actually get dressed rather than putting on like pajamas or not having proper bottoms with a good top that's presentable. So we talked about that, and then we also probably spoke about no, not probably. We also spoke about probably having shorter like classes. So I have a class that's from 11 a.m. to 1:45, and there's definitely a lot of distractions, and you to sit in front of a camera, and then there's students that are younger in elementary school that are sitting in front of a camera the whole entire school day. And I think recess was definitely developed for a reason. There's a reason why they have recess and lunch breaks and things of that sort. So definitely shorter lengths I think would help them a lot more. And then we also spoke about probably this year, um, not completely taking a year off of school, but probably putting less pressure on it, especially for elementary students, just because we were talking about what would be the pros and cons of probably someone in high school graduating at 19 rather than 18, or yeah, just the pros and cons. So that's basically what we spoke about.
Cool, cool. Thank you for sharing. I'm in the same boat as you. I have a class from 11 to 1:45 as well, so
Yeah,
it's pretty brutal.
professor never ends early.
Never, never. So cool. Anybody else want to share? Last point.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we had a we had a lovely discussion in our group, and we checked how we can use online teaching to our advantage during this pandemic, and we were able to come up with three basic focal points. The first one being creative. We're using the technology to our own advantage, and we talk about social contact. Since most of the educations now are now online, so we talk about the role of parent. A parent has to be very vigilant and be careful and to monitor their teenagers during this period, and to also make sure that in every family there's a born teacher in every family. We're not just depending on classroom lectures alone. We aren't depending on those people who are trained to be teachers alone. So the parent has a lot of roles to play in this context during this pandemic. So that's just a summary of what we discussed in our group.
Yeah, very good points, Colin. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
And I believe we had one other person that wants to share. I don't want to kind of cut them off.
It was myself. In our group, we didn't have a lot of definitive resolutions, but one of the things that we were talking about from the start was the fact that the social aspect of being in school and being around other people is going to be lost for the time being, and those qualities that people develop early on to going all the way into college and everything gets you to learn to deal with people that you don't necessarily like, that you do like, you don't like, and you have difficulties getting along with. And a lot of those social, um, I guess you can say, abilities are going to be kind of lost or need to be learned later in life, in a manner of speaking. So, and one of the things that we also brought up too was that now there are technologies, I don't know how widely spread they are or they're still working on them, but they actually have somewhat of a facial recognition to see how well you're paying attention while you're in class. And your participation scores are based on how well you're paying attention, because it's reading your facial cues, being like, okay, this person's in la la land, so I think that would also help in terms of keeping people focused. But yes, having another computer is not necessarily, like next to your computer is not going to help, paying attention. So
Yeah, definitely.
That's basically what we talked about.
No, thank you. It's definitely hard. I'm in my senior year, and like you said, the dynamic is not there. The social cues, the social abilities, it gets lost. So thank you for sharing, Parker. So on that note, guys, thank you so much for participating in that event and sharing, keeping the engagement going. Before I wrap up and do my last points, I do want to just bring attention to Brandon Samba. If I could find him through this scroll, give me 1 second.
How's it going, everyone?
Oh, there we go. Okay, let me. Perfect. So this is a friend of mine, Brandon Samba. He's an alumni from Bentley University. Unfortunately, there was a bit of a timing difference, logistical error. He is located, I believe, in Central America, and we're in Eastern Standard Time. So, however, I do want to give him a quick introduction and shout out. He is a very prominent social entrepreneur, the founder of Captains of Capital, a great nonprofit organization, and he is the director of Ivy Line at Ivy Line Capital, specifically investment education. So I encourage you guys, unfortunately for time, we will not be able to go with the full speaking agenda with Brandon, but I encourage you guys to connect with him on LinkedIn. Hopefully he'll put it in the chat below. Reach out to him. Hopefully there'll be some synergies there if you guys are trying to get investment education. So he's a great guy, and he'll tell you more about his nonprofit as well. So
thanks, man. Appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you, Brandon. And so that's it, guys. That's the wrap up for 2 days of the Millennial Gen Z Visionary Leader Summit. Thank you guys so much for the chat. I see the chat is exploding. So big shout out to the organizers of the event, myself, Hernan, Carrie, Prashant Tulsiani. There was a lot of energy that went into this. It was a long 2-3 month process. But we couldn't have done it without all of you guys for being here, keeping engaged, keeping us going. So thank you guys to you. Hernan, if you want to share some final words.
I do. So guys, again, thank you very much. I want to give the biggest shout out to one of my best friends, Carrie Moore. Carrie, you know, I owe you big time again for the 20th time. We'll get to hang out and have a drink together very soon. Okay. And I have to tell you a few things. And to all the speakers, you guys, I love you guys. You are amazing. You're part of our family now. You can come in and out. I always say that Apprentice Worldwide is mi casa, tu casa, right? Apprentice Worldwide, you come in whenever you want. And Benjamin, you mentioned something about Apprentice Worldwide getting paired up. Nobody gets paired up at Apprentice Worldwide. All of them are your mentors, okay? You can talk to any of them. Not all of them at the same time. You gotta follow some rules, like, you know, some protocols. But, you know, once you know what the protocols are after you go through orientation, everyone's your mentor, right? We're a big, happy family, and we just want to have the right people in our team that are respectful and that care, right? But if you want to volunteer, again, if you're not a mentor and not an associate, we can change that in 2 seconds. Just write to me, and we'll find a way to introduce you, go through orientation. Any other questions? By the way, we're not done. I don't know why you're kicking people out. We're done with the recording, right? When you finish, okay? Guys, thank you. Thank you on behalf of Apprentice Worldwide, everybody from around the world. We get to hang out a lot on WhatsApp, and we'll do this again. Last announcement, our next event is October 28th. October 28th, we're going to have a Zoom on career fuck-ups. I mean, career mistakes, right? And how to deal with horror stories at work. So a lot of bad stories. It's Halloween, so we got to share those bad stories, bad bosses, and how we overcame them. So Nicole touched on a little bit about that. We did that a few times in the prior years. Everybody loves to hear how to avoid these mistakes by learning from other people. October 28th, don't forget, we're going to Zoom back in and we'll hang out with some of the people that we met today.
You keep that first title, you'll drive more attendance.
It's online. If you want to see the past ones, our YouTube channel, follow us on YouTube. All the talks, all that we do, it gets recorded and put on YouTube. Even our career expos in the past. I don't know if you knew, that's our little secret. This is going to be on YouTube, okay? So you're going to hear all the talks. They're all available for you. We just, you know, tell people that this is very exclusive so that they come. But we care about the ones that couldn't come because of any reason. We take care of our team. So we're going to share it with them as well. Any questions?
So Hernan, if this is on YouTube, I'm assuming we all get royalties?
So when you turn off the recording, I'll tell you a few things. Yeah. By the way, Benjamin, big hand of applause for Benjamin. You kicked butt, Benjamin. You're the star, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. And it was his birthday last weekend, so can we sing a happy birthday real quick? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Benjamin. Happy birthday to you. Thank you. Thank you.
Zoom style birthday.
Thank you guys.
And
Thank you guys.
that's the best birthday from around the world. Even I see, you know, Comlan from Africa singing happy birthday. People from Brazil, people from all over the place. So this is your family, okay? Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
When you stop the recording, I'll tell you a few more things. But guys, thank you.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Couldn't have done without you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't show